What's up, agents? Disc here. It is the last half of March, and we are going to reveal our way too early agent rankings for the characters in Valorant. One thing to keep in note for this video is this is way too early. The game's not coming out for another couple months. We haven't played a beta yet. All we have to go off of is the description of the abilities and the brief gameplay we've seen of maybe 15-20% of the abilities that exist in the game. There's still some characters we haven't seen at all we have are descriptions. So these are tentative. As you know, we're going to be updating these as frequently as we feel like we can. This video is going to be a little bit longer for these purposes, just because we've got 8 characters to go through, introductions to make. So we'll leave timestamps down below if you want to find out what our thoughts are on a specific agent. But we're going to kind of just go through with the information we have. So just to remind everybody, we're going to be going through each ability for each character, and we're going to be ranking it 1 through 8. 1 means that we think it's the best of that ability of all of the agents. A 12 or an 8 means probably the worst ability for us. And as we mentioned in our last video, this is all opinion based. You may have a different view than us. You may think totally differently than we do, and that's fine. We welcome that in the comments section below. And if you do agree, that's great. Just keep in mind this has to do with play styles. You know, if you're really aggressive and we have one of the aggressive characters ranked really low, then that doesn't mean that character is not the best for you. You know, it's based on play style. This is going to be kind of an overarching theme, and you know, we're doing our best. These will certainly adjust with more information. So also, as always, if you can think of any way that you'd like to see these videos improve, let us know. This is new for us, so we're always looking to improve. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. The first character that we know about is, well, I think we're going to go in order from worst to first. We're going to start with our lowest ranked character. And I think right out of the gate, we're going to be controversial here. I think a lot of people are looking at this character as being potentially OP, overpowered, but we have a different opinion. So Jett, her first ability is the Cloud Burst. Throw out a cloud of fog that obscures vision on impact. Hold down the ability to bend the clouds in flight trajectory. So basically, I mean, in the simplest of terms, this is a smoke. And we have her smoke ability as 8. We have it last of the 8 agents. We think there's 7 better abilities than that. So moving on to ability 2, that is called Updraft. After a brief wind-up, propel yourself upwards. So she has a large jump into the air. She can get over walls. Mobility is great. It's great. It's one of the first things that people go after in gaming when picking a character. Pathfinder is great in Apex Legends because of that. But the thing is, we think that this game is going to be more about synergizing with your team and helping your team. So maybe you trade mobility for the ability to give information to your team or block off sight lines, X, Y, Z. So, you know, I think Jett on her own is going to be one of the best characters if you're just solo queuing and looking to play by yourself and not really worried about the team environment. I think she's the best character in the game, for sure. But we think it's more than that. Of course, you need an assassin, you need an entry frag, but we do have her ranked 8th, and we have her updraft ranked as 5th. So certainly leaves some to be desired there for the team. Again, it really helps you. Moving into her signature ability, we have Tailwind. Immediately dash a short distance in the direction you're moving. Another great movement ability, something that is super useful. Same reasons. We're going to try to be a little quick here, but for the same reasons as Updraft, we don't have it ranked very high. I don't think it benefits the team that much. We have that ranked as 4th. So 3 abilities better than hers and 4 abilities worse. So, and lastly, moving on to her ultimate ability, Blade Storm. Arm yourself with several deadly throwing knives that deal moderate damage and kill on headshots. Scoring a kill restores all these daggers. Left click throws a single dagger. Right click throws all remaining daggers in a short ranged burst. This is super good. no doubt about it, especially if you combo it with the updraft. Super good, no recoil, instant headshots from what I understand. Will not kill in a body shot, unfortunately. But, you know, we have her. Again, it's really helpful. Kills are great. Kills are great. And I think that this will be a good killing ability. But I'm not too sure, again, on the benefit to the team. I've seen others out there, and I know this is going to shock people. And, you know, I hope you hang in there with us and don't discredit us because, again, this is way too early to tell. But we have this ability ranked 8 out of 8 as well. That's 2 abilities for Jett that we just don't value greatly. Of course, the movement's there. Again, solo queuing, she's going to be a great character, but we have her as a 25-point agent, and remember, the less points you have, the better. And actually, we have her as F tier right now. Of course, subject to change. I've been shuffling things around every time we get a little bit more information, so this is just right now. So after Jett, let's move on to our 7th ranked character, another what I would say pretty controversial one, and that's Viper. We just see her preview come out. We're going to provide that preview and a breakdown of that preview for everybody in a later video, but just jumping right in, her ability 1, let's see, is Snake Bite. Fire a projectile that explodes into a pool of damaging acid. Pretty good. Basically, I would treat this as the equivalent as a Molly or a Molotov. Zoning, great, but also can kill somebody. So that's really good. We actually have this ranked 3rd, 2 better than her, which you'll find out later in the video. But again, pretty good ability. Her ability 2, Poison Cloud. Throw out a gas emitter that you can reactivate to create a poisonous smoke cloud at the cost of fuel. The emitter can be picked up and thrown again after a short cooldown. So we've seen this in use. This is, again, a smoke ability. And I know you probably think that, oh, so far 2 smoke abilities are ranked pretty low. I'm not saying smoke's not valuable. It's one of the most valuable things. But I think there are better forms of it available in this game than just a traditional smoke. So for that reason, we have this ability ranked as 8th out of 8. I know, crazy. Moving into her signature ability, we've seen this in use as well. My understanding from what I've heard is that it's actually pretty hard to use. That is the toxic screen. Basically, it's a long string of smoke. I think you can bend it. I think you can pick them up, and I think you can reactivate it. But we have this as a rank 7 out of 8. Another pretty low ability for us, and I think this really affects her. That's basically where we have that one. And moving into her ultimate, it's called Viper's Pit. Emit a massive toxic cloud in an area that lasts as long as Viper stays inside the cloud. Enemies inside the cloud are highlighted to Viper. Okay, we've seen this in use. It's caused a lot of controversy. Doc hates it. A bunch of people hate it because I don't think they understand what's going on. But this is a super strong ability. Basically, a caustic type ability from Apex. You can put it over a bomb site and pretty much end it. I mean, the way I look at it, it's really strong, really great, mainly for bomb defusal and planting. I think you could be down 4 to 5 to 1 in a round and pop that on the zone, and you have a strong chance of winning. It's a strong ability, and that's. Let me tell you, I went to look and reevaluate today. I thought maybe it deserved to be higher, but the other ultimates in this game above it are just so good. And for that reason, we have it as a 5. But it's really strong, wicked strong. That brings Viper's total to a 23. We have her as a D-ranked character right now in the game. Obviously, the tiers are just based off of relation to each other. So I'm not saying that Jett and Viper are bad characters, but you know, they're not as good as the S tier characters. So moving on, let's move on to our number 6 ranked hero. That is Sova. Sova, from what I've read from some people that have played it, they say he's meta. You have to have him on your team. Now, I understand that, but I also don't think they had the whole character list available to them, and I actually think there's somebody that does his job even better. But he's basically your information gatherer. His first ability is Shock Bolt. Fire an explosive bolt that emits a damaged pulse of static energy upon impact. Look, we've seen it used once. It's pretty hard to tell what's going on, but it looks just like a frag grenade, the equivalent of a frag grenade to me. And we actually have that ranked as 6th. We value the ability to do damage. That's pretty good. So that's that. His ability 2 is Owl Drone. Deploy a pilotable drone that can fire a dart that will reveal enemies who are hit. Super strong. Gathering information in this game, I think, is going to be extremely important. But we kind of see the same problems that Crypto has in Apex. It's tough to just stand still, not move, and fly a drone, and somebody can kill you while you're in your drone. It's also apparently makes noise. It moves pretty slowly. So I think I had this ranked a lot higher before we got that information. But obviously, being able to give your team information is great. We actually have this as a 7. Information is great, but if it's easy to kill, if it's noisy, I'm not sure how good it's going to be. So we'll certainly see. Signature ability is called Recon Bolt. We think this is a strong one. Fire a bolt that deploys a sonar emitter. The sonar ping tags nearby enemies, causing them to be revealed and can be destroyed. So this thing can be shot. My understanding is that it bounces like crazy. We've seen it in use, and it just straight shows your teammates where you are. It's great in smokes. It's great behind walls. I think this is going to be one of the best signature abilities in the game, and I actually have it ranked as a 2. So that's the first super high ranking that we've seen so far. I have his signature ability as a 2. It's something that he gets every round. He is going to be strong. Moving into his ultimate ability, it also sounds really strong. We don't have it ranked quite as high, but we'll see. It could be number 1. It could easily change, but it's called Hunter's Fury. Fire up to 3 deadly energy blasts that spear across the entire map. Each enemy hit takes heavy damage and is marked. We have this ranked as a 6 out of 8. It's going to be super good depending on if it can kill, depending on how long it reveals your enemies, depending on how easy it is to control where it goes. We don't know much about it. We haven't seen it in use, so I think we're being a little tentative with it. But that brings Sova's total to a 21. Remember, Viper 23, Jett 25. The link for this document will be down below in the description just in case you want to follow along with where we're at. But we have Sova ranked as a C level character. We're excited to try him out. Moving on to our 5th ranked character on its own, 5th place, Agent Cypher. We have not seen any of this in use from his perspective. We've seen little bits and details. He looks badass. He's basically a spy. So his first ability is Trapwire. Place a stealth tripwire between 2 walls, triggering enemies are restrained and revealed for a short time. If the trap is not destroyed, it activates to daze the trapped victim. Can be picked up. Area control, area denial ability. We have this ranked at a 5. Again, we haven't seen it in use, so that will likely change. Ability 2 is Cyber Cage. Toss out a remote activation trap. Reactivate to create a cage that slows enemies who pass through it. Look at a trap and press use to detonate it, or hold activate to detonate all. So we haven't seen this in use at all. It could be broken. It could be worthless. We don't really know. We're just taking a guess. We have this thing ranked at a 6 out of 8. Obviously, you can tell the things that we don't know much about. We're not putting too high just because, we're trying to be realistic, and we'll see how it ends up looking. Moving on to his signature ability, this is where I really like him over a guy like Sova. I think this is really useful. It's a spy cam. Place a remote camera. After placing, reactivate to view the video feed. Left click while in camera to fire a tracking dart. Recharges when picked up or killed. So he's an information gatherer as well, as you can see. And my understanding is this camera isn't viewable. It's invisible unless you're using it. So I think it's going to be super good, especially if you can know and understand the map. We have that ranked at a 3. That's pretty good. Just below Sova's arrow. And lastly, moving on to his ultimate, this is where I think he really shines. Neural theft. Extract information from the corpse of an enemy, revealing the location of their living allies. Boom. You get to know where everybody's at just from looking at a dead person. super strong. Again, could end up easily being number one. We have it ranked as a 4 right now. That brings Cypher's total to 18. Remember, Sova was a C-level character at 21. Lower's better. We have Cypher at an 18. That puts him as our first B-level character in the game. All right, that rounds out our bottom half. Let's look at the, by the way, this is a 5-player game. So technically, we would consider Cypher in the meta right now, part of the ideal team composition. Moving on to the top half of our characters, we've got number 4, Brimstone. This is going to be your opera character, your backline character, at least by the sounds of it. His first ability is an incendiary. Launch an incendiary grenade that deploys a damaging field of fire. Basically, self-explanatory. We have that ranked as a 4 for area denial and the ability to kill somebody. His next ability, crazy interesting. I've seen a lot of different buffs in a lot of character-based games, but I think this is one of the few really unique ones in the game. And it's called a stim beacon. Target a nearby location to call in a stim beacon, giving all players near it rapid fire. Now, I'm just assuming rapid fire speeds up your rate of fire without giving you a accuracy penalty. So that sounds really good. I guess the enemy team can use it too, which is a little scary. You need to know how to use it. But we love this ability, and we love it so much that we have it ranked as the number 1 second ability. This is the first number 1 that we've hit in the list. We think this is super strong. I think this is a big reason why we have him in the top half. Moving into his signature ability, it's Sky Smoke. Use your map to call in orbital deployment smoke screens that obscure vision. Click to set locations, confirm to launch. Look, smoke ability, good ability that you can use from the backline. You don't have to put yourself in danger. That's why we have him as a backline player, and we actually have this ability ranked as a 5 out of 8. So we're a fan of this. Moving on to his ultimate ability, Orbital Strike. Use your map to target a location, launching a devastating orbital strike that pulses for high damage over several seconds. Look, this is a Gibby ult from Apex. It's the same thing. It's pretty good. I'm wondering how easy it's going to be to avoid. I was actually thinking about this recently, how good it would be to put on a bomb site. Boom, blow up the bomb site, push in and defuse the spike. Yeah, I do like it, but we just don't know enough. We have that ranked as a 7. It's the lowest thing in his kit. We have Brimstone at a 17 overall. That's 1 better than Cypher at 18. And we have him ranked as a B-level opponent, or agent. Sorry. Moving on to our 3rd ranked agent. We're in the top 3, the big 3. I think a lot of people are expecting this chick to be in there for sure, and that is Sage. She is the healer. She's the Mercy. She's got some Moira-type qualities with her orbs. She's the first healer that we've found in the game. Very controversial with the resurrection ability, but first ability is Slow Orb. Cast out a Radianite orb that breaks into a slowing field upon impact with the ground. All caught in the field are slowed, grounded, and make noise when moving. So making more noise, that's awesome. Slowed down, that's awesome. This is kind of like a smoke, like the way you would use it to block off an area. Area denial for sure. But we think, again, there are still better first abilities. We have this ranked as a 7 for Sage. Lowest item on her kit. Moving to ability 2, that is her barrier orb. She basically, you've seen it, we've seen it a bunch. Conjure a large solid wall. Right click to rotate wall before casting. So it's like a May wall, but apparently it's pretty hard to shoot down. And we see her get up a revive behind it. We think this is going to be a useful ability for sure. We have this ranked as a 4 out of 8. Moving on to her signature ability, Healing Orb. Heal an ally or yourself to full health over a few seconds. Wow. Strong. Super helpful. I hate in CS when I get down to 1 health and I know I can't peek. We see her use it a couple times too. It looks really good. It looks like in the alpha footage, she can even carry 2 of them. They may nerf that by the time it comes out, but we have this ranked as a number 1. We have this as the best signature ability in the game. That's our second number 1 that we found of the 4 categories. I think it speaks for itself. And lastly, her highly controversial item is Resurrection. She can res somebody, target a friendly corpse after a short delay, revive them to full health. Full health. That is strong. It's controversial. A lot of the CS players don't like to see that. I don't blame them. But believe it or not, we don't have it ranked as number 1, but we do have it ranked as number 2. There is an ultimate out there that we think is better, for a little bit more useful. But yeah, this is a very, very strong ability. That puts Sage at 14 points. She's our first A tier character, actually our only A tier character. The next 2 that we're going to talk about are only better than her by 1 point, and they're tied for S tier. And that just shows Sage is in the meta. You're going to want a Sage on your team. All right, moving into our second/first ranked character. Both of these characters or agents are tied. 13 points. 1 point ahead of Sage for us. So we're going to just call them both first place. These are in no particular order. I'm going to put them in order of my list. But they're equal in our eyes. So that person, and this is the one that I'm personally most excited to try out, and that's Omen. He's like the Overwatch Reaper in a way. His first ability is called Paranoia. Send out an ethereal shadow in a straight line, near-sighting anybody that touches it. I don't know what this is for sure. I've heard that it goes through walls, and I think of it like a flash that you can just throw, and if it hits somebody, they lose their vision. I love flashes in CS. They're great for pushing tool, an aggressive tool. Going through walls, like I just think that sounds really, really strong. We'll see how good it is. We haven't seen it in use again, and Omen across the board is a character that we don't know much about, but we have this ranked as number 1. Number 1, that's all I have to say about that. Number 2, we have Shadow Walk. After a delay, dematerialize and teleport a short distance. This is a Reaper move. I really like it in this mode. It depends how you need to use it. If you need line of sight like Reaper, it's a little less good as if you can just go invisible and teleport behind people. If you can do that, that's going to be really strong. But we don't exactly know. I was thinking actually about potentially dropping it, depending. I've heard it takes a long time to cast. We don't know. We've got it ranked at as a 3 out of 8 right now for his ability to. Signature ability, Dark Cover. Cast out a stealth ethereal orb that bursts into an obscuring sphere of shadow in its final location. Can be charged to increase distance. Haven't seen much of this. I think we maybe saw like at the tail end of it happening, but not enough to see what's going on. It's a smoke, I think, and we actually have this ranked as 8. His worst ability, the worst signature ability in the game. I just think there's better things you can get for free every round than a smoke. That's partly why. And think about it. I mean, if this is any better, and we're right about the other abilities in his kit, he's going to be the best character by far that we know of. His ultimate ability, moving on, we have this as the best ultimate ability in the game. We think this is going to be super strong. We'll see if it ends up being truthful. It's called From the Shadows. Select anywhere on the map to teleport and reform. When arriving, appear as a shade. I don't really know what that means. I'm guessing, I don't know. That will go back to your original location if killed. Once the teleport is complete, become incorporeal for a short time. So, guy can teleport anywhere. And whatever the shade thing is, we don't really know about it, but just the teleport and reform thing is crazy good. We have this as the number 1 ultimate in the game. We have Omen with the number 1 first ability and the number 1 ultimate, but the worst signature ability. If that goes up at all, this guy's going to be really, really strong. I cannot wait to play him. And moving on to our last agent, tied with Omen at 13, the only 2 S tier characters in the game, and that's Phoenix. I think he just provides so much value to the team. He can play solo. He's your standard Counter-Strike. If you are coming over from Counter-Strike and you don't want to get into all the spells and casts and everything, I mean, this is going to be your hero. His first ability is Hot Hands. Throw a fireball that explodes after a delay on impact with the ground. The fire zone damages enemies and heals you. Yeah, so you've got your Molly, your Molotov denial area, kill people, damage people, but guess what? If you're hurt, you can just throw it on yourself and heal up. No other character has the ability to heal other than Sage and him. So even though it only works for him, super strong. We have this ranked as the number 2 ability 1. Ability 2 is Blaze. Cast out a flame wall that blocks vision and damages anyone passing through it. You can bend the wall when casting by turning while holding left click, and it should also say, and it heals you. At least in the alpha footage, it heals you. Again, you all might think we're hating on smoke. You'll see that we're not hating on smoke abilities when you see the ranking for this one, because this is a smoke, but you can heal yourself on it. And people get damaged when they walk through it. Super good. We have it ranked as a 2 as well. Moving on to his signature ability, Curveball, casting a flare that cast a curving flare that bursts into brilliant light after a brief delay, temporarily blinding all looking at it. Left click curves it left, right click curves it right. It's your flash. It's the only traditional flash that we know of at this point. It curves. We've seen it used. He snaps his fingers and he throws it around a corner. Could be super useful. Also, gives you a little, your opponent a tell when they hear the snap, like, ooh, I need to look away. For that reason, we did knock it down. We had Phoenix at a standalone first, but we have that ranked as a 6. Lastly, moving into his ultimate, run it back, mark your location. If you die during this ability's duration or when the ability's duration expires, you'll be reborn at the marked location with full health. This is Revenant from Apex Legends. We think it's really good. You can get crazy aggressive with it. It sounds like this is the way that Revenants should be, to be honest. You just go charging in guns blazing. If you get a couple picks, wow, you've done a great job for your team. If you just get killed, you go right back. You're all good. We really like this ability. We have this ability ranked 3 out of 8. Overall, 13 points, S tier. That's the round out of the list. Why don't we go through it one more time? 8th place, we have Jett with 25. 7th place, we have Viper with 23. 6th place, we have Sova with 21. 5th place, we have Cypher with 18. 4th place, we have Brimstone with 17. 3rd place, we have Sage with 14. And a tie for first, we have Phoenix and Omen with 13 points each. That is going to be our first rankings video. Way too early to tell. We're going to keep this thing updated, and pretty much my plan is to update you every time I change a number on my document. The link's down below if you want to follow along. And I think our next couple videos, we're going to dive in a little deeper to each specific character teaser that we've gotten from Riot so far. I'm expecting another one tomorrow on the 19th, but we will go over Phoenix and Viper, which is what we have so far. Thanks for tuning in. I know this is a long video. I don't think I'm going to make any more videos this long, but we think this is an important one to introduce everybody to the system and how it works. And if anybody has any comments or disagrees or agrees, feel free to leave that in the comments. And as always, slap that like button like your mama told you, right? And hit subscribe. Thanks. Bye-bye.